Mexikid, a graphic memoir, written and illustrated by Pedro Martin, a First Chapter Friday read aloud video with the Word Nerd. This graphic memoir, graphic meaning graphic novel, memoir meaning true stories about the author and illustrator's life. This graphic memoir recounts the time my parents crammed my 8 brothers and sisters and I into a pre-owned motorhome and pickup truck with ropes for seatbelts for the road trip of a lifetime. We traveled 2,000 miles to Mexico to get my Mexican Revolution-era grandfather and bring him to the United States to live with us. It's a funny, tragic, and sometimes historical adventure about a kid, me, trying to understand his heritage while attempting to connect with a very stern, super old man of mystery. I wanted to write this story because it was one of those tales that's been told over and over in my family for years. But as you got into it, I discovered a little something about myself. I'd always struggled with being an American born Mexican kid. I was born Pedro, but in the US, I was called Peter. I could never choose one or the other for myself. But in these pages, I finally came to understand what and who I actually was. It's called Mexikid, but it's a story for any kid that asks, am I just one thing or can I be a bunch of things all at once? I loved this book and I know you will too. I struggled to figure out how much I was going to tell you I loved it, but then I came across this endorsement, and so I thought I'd share that with you instead. Victoria Jameson says Mexikid is poignant, laugh out loud funny, and masterfully weaves road trip misadventures with history and family legacies. This is one of those books that kids will pass to their friends as soon as they have finished it. And I totally agree. The second I got done with it, I handed it to my son and was like, I know you are going to love this book. So let's dive in. Mexikid, Chapter 1 by Pedro Martin. Chapter 1 is called Ready, Set, Go. They call me Peter, but my real name is Pedro. If your family's from Mexico like mine is, you usually have a couple of names you can go by. Some people go by their full-on Mexican name and keep their real names. Some of us slip and slide between American-style names and a Mexican one. I come from one big Mexican-American family, and I mean big. I'm the 7th of 9 kids. 9. Let me introduce you to my family. The hastily prepared, super superficial beginner's guide to the Martin family. Hey, hold on, isn't Martin an American-style name? Not when you pronounce it Martin and roll your R's like a fancy Spaniard. Martin, Martin. Papa, Pedro Sr., American stylized name is Dad. He's an inventor and a farmer and a crack shot with a slingshot. Mama, Mercedes, American styled name, Mom. She knows how to heal any wound, real or imagined, and she plays the harmonica. Salvador, aka Shava, American styled name, Sal. He's a science enthusiast. He can grow a beard, if he wanted to. Ludwina, aka Lila, American styled name, Lila. She is a historian and a tree hugger, and she is the nice one. Leon, American styled name, Leon. Some of us get off easy on the name switch thing. Half of the Leon and No punching and pranking team. No, American stylized name, No, pronounced no E. He loves flowers. Kidding. He loves punching. Ruth, American stylized name, Ruth. In Spanish, it sounds like root. She is business-minded, an adventurer, and a ghost whisperer. Hugo, American styled name, Hugo, because in Spanish it's Hugo, and it's a no-win scenario. He's the best guitar player in the family, and he's also the only guitar player in the family. Alejandro, American stylized name is Alex, the baby, all-around lovable smartass, and poopster. Adon, Americanized styled name, Adam. Half of the Adam and Alex team of Emma's favorite kids. He's almost totally unflappable. And then there's me. Fair is fair. Here's the Martin family guide to Peter and or Pedro. Leon and no E. He's not fast. And he's weird. Lila. Leave him alone. He's just creative. That's code for he lives in a fantasy world, says Ruth. That's my fault. I took him to see Star Wars once and he's never been the same, says Sal. Hugo says he liked comic books too, and he can draw pretty good, except for the hands. He sucks at hands. Alex and Adam say he collects dolls. He calls them action figures. Papa says We think he should become a priest or maybe a mariachi. Both makes hundreds of dollars every weekend. Mama says he's a great translator when I have to go to the doctor or shop for a bra. He knows a lot about bras now. Not true. Moving on. The house was built to comfortably fit a family of five, but we were a family of 11 and we were about to get even bigger. The year was 1977, dinner time. Dinner time was just a concept, really. With that many people in our house, you ate when you could or where you could. We almost never ate at the dinner table at the same time. Not because there was no room, but because we did not enjoy eating together. Dame tu plato? No, no quiero más arroz, ama. If you're finished, go. Are you still talking? Why are you still talking? I have two more bites, dummy. Because I have intelligent things to say. Ooh, he called you a dummy. That's a slapping offense. Slap him during the commercial. Personally, I would rather focus on the TV than my big brother Noe while I eat. Noe had the most to say about, well, everything, especially about my weight. Now what? I was the roundest Martin, and my older brothers would never let me forget it. Do you live to eat or eat to live? Arnold Schwarzenegger's movie Pumping Iron had just come out, and Noe was all about muscles and fitness sayings. Milk is for babies. Are you a man or are you a baby's? Are you stupid naturally or naturally stupid? They weren't all amazing singers, but if you were quick enough, they could sting. Leave. Now. Making dumb comments about what each other looked, smelled, acted like was so common in our house that it didn't really bother me. Being defined by what I looked, smelled, acted like was a different matter. I'm a richly layered cake of human being once you get to know me. My smell does not define me. Fine. I like sitting over here anyways. The bar seat was really the best seat for watching TV. Unfortunately, it was also the greeter position. If anyone came through the front door and you and your dinner had to say hello. If it was a family member coming through the door, the greeting was typically big brother stuff. His brother flips his keys and plop, they land right in his soup. Dude! But if it was a guest or compañía that came in through the door, you had to stand up, swallow fast, and make them feel welcome. Hola, hola, permise a comer. One of the things I love about this book is that they include the Spanish, so at the bottom it'll tell you what those Spanish words meant. So if you don't speak Spanish, you can still know what's going on in the story. So that means hola, hola, permise a comer means hello, hello, come in and eat. Even if you weren't sure who they were, you had to do this. Have a seat, take my plate. I haven't touched it except to fish the car keys out. With company in the house, the next best place to sit was on the living room floor. It rendered you invisible to adults and closer to God. I mean, closer to the TV. One of my favorite shows was Happy Days. It was the perfect show to have on when adults were talking about seemingly serious matters. All the clapping and catchphrases nicely drowned out almost all the bad news that you might overhear. Hey, grades aren't cool, learning is cool. Clap, clap, true. That's why you're the Fonz, Fonz. Hey, huh? That night, two words did get through: Mexico and Abuelito. My abuelito lived thousands of miles away in Jalisco, Mexico. We'd been living in California, USA since before I was even born. My family moved up here to pick strawberries and start new lives. But abuelito stayed behind, so I didn't see him for years at a time. All I really knew about him was that he lived through the Mexican Revolution, like 100 years ago. Now he was just an old widower living with one other relative or another. Suddenly, old guy was the topic of some really intense conversations. Orale, no vamos en 6 días. Agreed, we leave in 6 days. Wait, what is happening? I think Appa said something about going to Mexico? Abuelito no necesita. Aragensle. What? Abuelito needs us. Everyone get ready. From what I could tell, we are going to Mexico in 6 days to bring our Revolutionary War era Abuelito here, to California, to this house, to live with us. This is crazy. Why does he need to come here? There's no room here. He can have the top bunk. I hope he brings his mules. He's bringing his mules? Where are they supposed to sleep? Top bunk is free. Yeah, Adam's bunk already smells like mule. They'll feel right at home. This always happened around here. Big decisions were made, and suddenly we all had to adjust our entire lives. You'd think my vote would count for something here in the USA. I'm kidding. We didn't vote in this house. This house was a Mexican family style dictatorship. And then we have Pedro's mom saying, and again, please, I'm doing my best with the Spanish. I'm sorry if it's terrible. Ya dije vamos a hacer espacio veras, which means, I already said, we'll make room. You'll see. And Pedro wants to know, but why now? Why not wait until Sal moves out or Alex runs away or something? You know, to the circus or the zoo? Probably the zoo. Peter, stop asking so many questions. He's our abuelito and he needs us, okay? Get with it. Aw, man. As I walk back to my overshared mule scented room, I notice a picture of Abuelito on the fridge. What's so important that you need us to come all the way to Mexico to bring you back here? My ama had covered the fridge with all kinds of photos and souvenirs from throughout the years. The bottom drawer had pictures of all of us doing sports and wearing uniforms. There were also pictures of aunts, uncles, and cousins from all over the place. Most of them I hadn't seen in forever. There were a couple of pictures of Abuelito too, all looking the same, old and stern. That was his thing, old and stern. If you want to continue reading Mexikid by Pedro Martin, pick up a copy from your school library, purchase one from your favorite local indie bookstore, or grab it via the link in the description box. Trust me when I say you're going to want to find out what happens to Pedro on this road trip in this massive RV when they find his grandpa and what happens next. Then be sure to check out the rest of the First Chapter Friday playlist. I've got tons of middle grade and young adult novels waiting for you, some of them graphic novels just like this one. Thanks so much for visiting my channel, Learning with the Word Nerd. Please like this video and subscribe. Then you can find more great content from me online at these places. I'll see you again next time. Happy reading.